Centipedes, you know, all the little latest games back then in the 80s. The PJs and Mona Park area and 10/8 and 110 streets, man. Feel me? And Wilmington niggas. This is where we hustled and made our money off the boulevard of Imperial Highway. So, during this era, man, a situation occurred, like I said. This little girl went into the store during the summer of 83, and she stole a pack of annihilators, man, some candy. Actually, she just picked the candy up. She didn't have the money to really pay for it. So it was other customers in the store. The little girl just walked out with the candy. Feel me? Not, you know, having no harm of robbery or larceny in her heart. She just wanted some candy that she couldn't afford, she couldn't pay for. Instead of this old fuck allowing her to have the candy, oh no, he pulled his rifle, his long ass pistol from behind his counter, walked out behind the counter, bro, walked outside, and he was a shooter, man, because he was an ex-police. Walked out behind the counter, bro, and aimed his pistol at this little girl and shot her in the back of her head, man, and he killed this little girl. Carver Park was in an outrage. That's the community that was our opposite enemies back then, the opposite of us, going southwestbound of our projects. So Carver Park sits southwestbound of us, the opposite of Imperial Highway, going back towards 120th, between 120th and Imperial Highway and Central and Compton Avenue. That's Carver Park neighborhood. So, when this little girl got killed, it sparked attention in Watts. Now people are talking in Watts about the Hawkins. No longer than 2 months after this little girl got killed, and people was already in an uproar against that family, James Hawkins Sr. Jr. was the junior of Hawkins Sr. James Hawkins Jr. was a fucking jama. This nigga was a known BGF. On swole, buff, grown-ass man in his 30s. We young kids, bro, back then. Teenagers. Kids. 17, 18, 19 years old. This dude was 33, 34 years old and a known BGF and a killer. A straight hitter. Don't get it twisted, bro. We end up in a kangaroo high-power case because this became a high-power situation. Follow me. That's why I'm breaking it down to you guys today, live. So, James Hawkins Jr. was already mad, upset, and angry, and volatile because he was on the run. He was on the run for an outbreak at San Quentin. The nigga escaped from San Quentin prison. He was on the run for another murder in Northern California. Didn't have nothing to do with us. So he was already on his tip of not giving a shit about nothing because he was on the run. So the day of this robbery that occurred, you're damn right, history. The day of this robbery that occurred took place with my three homies. Eminem, Byron Decker, A.K. Cody, and LB Live Boy Lil Tony, who got killed. Rest in peace. That's what the war was all about. So, when my three little homies got hemmed up about the robbery, James Hawkins Jr. decided he wanted to play hero. So he went and sweated my little homies about the bikes they took. So they gave the bikes back to the people and went on about their business. So he basically fucked off their little money move that particular moment and became hero for the white folks and saved them, and we made them give them their bikes back. Okay, no problem. So the homies went on about their business. They went into the arcade and started spending their quarters out of their pocket, their money, into the arcade machines and minding their business, just playing the games, thinking about their next move. Not even bothering nobody, not bothering the Hawkins or nothing. This fucker, James Hawkins Jr., took it upon himself to take the initiative to create a problem with my homies. So he told them, hey, you three little motherfuckers gotta go. Get up out of here. That's just how he talked to him. He cussed him out and he cussed at him. And he intimidated him because the nigga was mean, he was buff, swole, and he wasn't no punk. This nigga can fight and he was a killer, man. So the little homies were scared. So they got on. Tony started cussing him out. Eminem and Cody walked on across the street and sit on the grass. Tony started cussing him out. So by this time, Tony started making his way to walk across the street. But before he could even get to cross the street, James Hawkins ran to his Mercedes-Benz. He had a coupe Mercedes-Benz, the C-Class, the little bitty Mercedes-Benz back then, the little ones. He went to his Mercedes-Benz, diesel Mercedes-Benz, bro. My head is clear because I lived this life, bro. I know what the fuck I'm talking about. It's true fact history because I had to write the script. I wrote the story, bro. So I'm giving you facts. Ain't no made up shit. I don't make up nothing. So he went to the trunk of his car and pulled out what we used to call back then, we sawed off shotguns. We didn't use shotguns. We sawed them off to where they was pistol grip this big. All you seen was the double barrel, that long, was no longer than 8 inches to 12 inches, and then you seen the pistol grip. So his shotgun was this big. You can literally put it in your coat, stuck it on your side like a pistol, any way you want it. He went straight to the trunk, grabbed his shotgun. He said, "What you say, little nigga?" And he walked up to Tony, and he grabbed him by his shirt, where he couldn't run, do nothing. Tony had no control, no nothing, bro. He literally outright murdered my homie at 16 years old. No, was LB, he was 15 or 16. This is my homeboy Wapjaw, little brother. So Wapjaw was about 18. Yeah, TB was like 15, 16 years old. This is my big homie Odu's nephews. My big homie Odu taught me some of my football skills. Used to play ball with us, man. So this is all history coming out of my neighborhood, bro. That's how I grew up. Being who I became. All the little latest games back then in the 80s. Going for it. We was in the uproar. So, one of my homegirls was fucking with one of the Hawkins sons. She was involved in a relationship. Feel me? One of the Hawkins was messing with one of my peoples. So they was connected to the projects, the kids. So when all this happened, it brought separation from their family and the projects. So, I was summoned by the LBs. So I'm breaking it down. In my neighborhood, there was only 2 squads coming out the Nixon Guard in the 70s and the 80s. The late 80s, first and foremost, the 70s, from the late 60s to the early 70s, from night to summer of 71, from the 70s to the 80s, there was only one squad at our hood. It was the Green Jackets. The Green Jackets, we turned from the Green Jackets to bounty hunters. The big homies in the first generation stamped us. In the clubhouse, they was in the shack. Terry Moses and them, Big Hard Rock, rest in peace. Tony Bogard, no damn Tony Bogard. Tony Barker, the Barker brothers, the Barker boys, you feel me? They stamped us as bounty hunters, and that's how we got our name. So from that point, we became bounty hunters in the Nixon Guard. We separated ourselves from the recruitment of the Tookie and the Raymond Washington when they hit the east side and they started recruiting Crip gangs and recruiting Crip sets from the Jordan Down projects in the Imperial Courts and Mona Park areas in Compton and shit like that. We stood fast and we became bounty hunters. The Nixon Guard. So we were separated. We have 1,066 housing units in our projects. We're the biggest housing projects in Los Angeles, period, and primarily the United States. We have 1,066 housing units in our projects. At one point, we were statistically up to damn near 10,000 gang members, and that was all males. That wasn't including our homegirls. Our homegirl count was 66 to 7,000 in head count of homegirls in that time of the statistics of the 70s and the 80s, bro. So I'm telling you history, facts. So we didn't have police issues. They was feared. They was petrified to come in them damn projects. All of them. Not just our projects, all of them. Because we moved a certain way. We moved accordance. We moved with loyalty, respect, and honor as a community. We didn't let people do shit to our elders. We didn't let people disrespect our mothers, your mother, your grandmama. We